The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCmedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week in FRCmedia News, police are investigating a shooting that left 2 city officers injured and the suspect dead. We get an update on activity in the Corky Row neighborhood, and residents are asked to complete the annual municipal census. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, February 12th, 2026. This is FRCmedia News. I'm Keith Tebow.
Traffic, opposite. No, we got 2 officers down, suspect down.
Fall River Police and the Bristol County District Attorney's Office are investigating an incident early Sunday morning when 2 city police officers were shot, suffering minor injuries, with the suspect subsequently shot and killed by police. The shooting took place outside 309 Linden Street after police received a call about an individual inside a vehicle at that location in possession of a firearm. 3 officers encountered 40-year-old Nigel Vaughn of Fall River at the scene. During a routine frisk, Mr. Vaughn resisted police, produced a firearm, and shot 2 police officers, one in the elbow and the other in the abdomen, striking his bulletproof vest. Officers returned fire, striking Mr. Vaughn, who was later pronounced dead at a local hospital. The 2 officers suffered non-life-threatening injuries and were discharged from the hospital. Mayor Paul Coogan says the officers handled the situation professionally.
I thought the police did an excellent job in a very trying situation, like it was midnight or a little bit after. It was snowing. It was 10 degrees or whatever it was. It was crazy. But, you know, they went by the book. We had 3 different body cams. We must have had, I don't know, 10 people, 12 people in the police station, including the district attorney, the chief, watching these body cam videos. And it really looked like they did what they were supposed to do to try to, you know, minimize the situation. But it just got out of hand very, very quickly. And I believe that they acted in self-defense, and it was more than justified for what was going on right in front of them.
Mr. Vaughn had a lengthy criminal record, including serving time in prison for a triple shooting in 2005 in Fall River. He's also been associated with gang activity and drug dealing in the Corky Row neighborhood of the city. Mayor Coogan says he's disappointed that the court system did not take into account Mr. Vaughn's past in allowing his release.
These individuals have a record that indicates they're dangerous. And don't get me wrong, my heart goes out to the families. They didn't want their children to grow up to be behaving like this, and I understand it. But at the same time, the rest of the public has to know that the people walking around them, driving by them, or interacting with them at a market or a store are not contemplating, you know, crazy amounts of violence and action against people that aren't even involved in their world. There's no reason that someone should be out, you know, with a gun modified like that and not afraid. I mean, if they're going to open fire on multiple policemen, the rest of us have no chance.
The city of Fall River saw another snow event last weekend with 3 inches packed upon the foot plus from the January 25th, 26th storm. The Coogan administration has been criticized for its snow removal efforts and lack of salting the streets. Mayor Coogan reacted this way.
Well, there's no salt anywhere. We were just talking to Dartmouth earlier today. There's no salt around. So that's where we are with salt, waiting for a couple of barges from New York. Hopefully they come up today and start to replenish the site down at the bottom of Kennedy Park there, the Saltine Warrior. So that's where that is. Snow, obviously, it's a perfect storm. We've had such great winters the last few years that people disconnected plows, didn't buy snow plow insurance, let guys go. I talked to a gentleman the other day at Rosario's. He said, I'm not even plowing anymore. Then we get hit with this major significant storm. We have 80 pieces running around the city, maybe a few more, give or take 5 or 10 either way. When traditionally we may have, for a storm that large, up to close to 200. So these guys are band-aiding their way around the city, and we did the best we could. I am not disappointed in the efforts that went on at DCM. I think they were working to the best of their ability. Do I want every street done curb to curb? Absolutely. Is the equipment available to do it? I don't believe it is.
The Fall River School Committee last night voted 5-2 to hold a special meeting to discuss the future of Superintendent Dr. Tracey Curley. Vice Chair Kevin Aguiar made the motion to discuss whether the committee should terminate the superintendent without cause as outlined in the provisions of her employee contract. We reached out to committee member Aguiar for comment. He replied that he is not allowed to speak on personnel issues. Mayor Paul Coogan and committee member Tom Corey voted no to holding the special meeting. During the meeting last night, Mayor Coogan said he feels the move is unwarranted.
I think it's a heck of a lift to ask members that have been on the board for 40 days now to decide the fate of our superintendent. I mean, Kevin and I have vigorously disagreed on this. I think she's doing an excellent job, and there is no reason to change horses in the middle of the race. I don't think we should be touching this, but again, as I said to Kevin when he brought this up, we'll follow the rules and do whatever you are allowed to do under the rules.
We're making a point to give you updates on what's happening within our neighborhoods in Fall River. Last fall, we looked at what was happening in the Flint neighborhood. Today, we focus on the Corky Row neighborhood. Here's a portion of our conversation with Mark Conrad, president of the Corky Row Neighborhood Association. A lot of people may know Corky Row, but if you had to define where the neighborhood sits in terms of maybe its boundaries, how would you answer that?
Right. So for us, the northern part of the neighborhood association is Lion Street. Right. And then as you move west, you get to South Main Street. You work your way all the way down South Main Street. Eventually, you get to Hartwell. You can work your way across over to Hartwell Street at the most northern end of it. And then you can work from there over towards Plymouth Avenue and come back up again until you get all the way around to Lions.
So it's basically that Plymouth Avenue is sort of the east boundary, if you will?
It'd be the east boundary, yes.
Yeah. How long have you been president of the association?
Probably right now, roughly, I'd say about 10 years.
Yeah. And what's that been like for you? And I guess how have things maybe changed in the last 10 years?
Right. So the number one thing I think we focused on with me and some of the other team members when we took over was to try to be able to improve the neighborhood in such a way that we could draw developers. We had so many boarded up multis in the neighborhood, and that invited trouble. And of course, we also had people coming to the neighborhood for the most part who were also causing trouble. So we focused very heavily on trying to decrease the crime. The Fall River Police were very effective with their gang task force, a number of other initiatives that they had. We really began educating the residents of the neighborhood not to invite bad people in, and that was a big part of the problem as well. Those folks moved out. We started seeing investment. I can't tell you of a single multi right now that's boarded up in Corky Row. They've built 5 luxury condos. The Corderos are getting ready to build what was the Edison building. There's just a lot of investment, and the community as a whole has improved dramatically.
Now, I asked you this before we started, but Griffin Park is really like the hub, right? It's in the center of the neighborhood,
geographically a center.
Yeah, it really is where a lot of things happen, right?
Absolutely, it's where pretty much everything that happens in Corky Row, as far as a neighborhood, happens in Griffin Park.
And of course, there have been renovations there over the past few years that have made it more appealing. Just in your going through the neighborhood, do you feel in the warmer weather months, obviously we're recording this in the winter, so not a lot of activity at the park, but did you see a lot more activity in the park just in general?
Absolutely, no question. Well, first of all, so the city did a $300,000 renovation of the park a number of years ago. There's work that needs to be done, and the city's on top of that. We'll see some more renovations happen as the good weather gets here, but just the activities that we're involved in, that we put on, you'll see a lot more activity in the park.
The city has also been instrumental in providing events there. I know one of the bigger one is this the concerts in the parks.
That's it. That's the
right.
big one.
That's a big one in the summer. And how important is that to sort of invite the community to one big community event where people may have even seen someone maybe a couple of houses down, never interacted with them, but may do so in this environment.
Right. First of all, when we do city in the music in the park, I noticed that a lot of people not from Corky Row come to that event. I go to the ones that they have in the other parks as well. So they're joyous. So that draws people who probably never ever would have come into Corky Row to come in and see Griffin Park and see our neighborhood. Then for the people all around to see life within walking distance. Again, we're financially challenged. Not everybody has cars. So what happens is that people could just walk down the street, walk maybe a dozen blocks, and they can be getting first class, music performed live, and right there in their own neighborhood. And so it's a beautiful thing, and we're looking forward to it again this year.
One of the things, and I don't know if you have the backstory, but why was that neighborhood named Corky Row? Obviously, there's a Corky Row Club right there. Was that the genesis of some of that, or what do you know about the history?
Yeah, very good. So the Corky Row Club itself was founded in 1936. So what had happened was, and this is common for all cities, and frankly speaking, Fall River is no different. You have immigrants coming. And in that time period, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, you had a lot of folks not only coming from Ireland, they were coming from Cork County, Ireland. You go in the club, you can see the map painted on the wall, and right there at the bottom is Cork. And so as a result, with all these Irish moving from Cork, Ireland, it got the nickname Corky's Row.
In terms of activities for the neighborhood association, you hold regular meetings. When are they? Where are they? And how can people get involved?
Yeah, so we have our neighborhood association meet the first Monday of every month at 6:30 p.m. in the Corky Row Club.
So right there, right near the park, right in the middle,
Distance,
right?
A block up.
And how many people generally attend?
Not many. We're going to try again to try to get our neighbors to be more involved this year, but probably generally speaking about a half a dozen to a dozen.
And normally at the neighborhood meetings, there's usually a police representative will talk about activity in the area. So I guess if people were to attend, what can they expect to see at a meeting?
Right. So the first people you're going to hear from are the police. We ask the police to give us a report as best they can. We have questions for them, especially if something bad has happened. But they also give us advice. They hear from the neighbors, and they can go ahead and address specific issues. We have occasionally what we call trouble houses. And so a tenant from there or their landlord themselves will come to the meeting, and then they'll go ahead and they'll let the police know. The police will take notice, and then they'll step up their attention to that matter. We've had to have landlords either evict their tenants who are causing these problems, or to sell the property to somebody who will manage it better.
How do you try to get the word out about what's happening in the neighborhood? You said there isn't great attendance for the meetings. How do you try to share information with your neighborhood?
So we have a Facebook page. We try to get that out. So when we have our events in the park, for example, we give people information on how to go to the Facebook page, how to come to the meetings. This year, we're going to do a door hanging initiative. So we'll go ahead and get door hangers in introducing the neighborhood association, but also having our schedule of events on it. So folks, it'll be a little bit more active type of communication versus people coming to us. We'll be going to them.
Let's talk about some of those events. I know we're in early February. March is right around the corner, thank goodness. Hopefully warmer weather. And of course, I know St. Patrick's Day is a big holiday for the neighborhood.
Right. Sure is. Before I forget, I want to
Sure.
thank the Narrows for, music in the park. I mean, again, this is the highest quality you're going to get in this region. And so I'm really very grateful to them. So we will start off with St. Patrick's Day on March 17th, as we do every year, has been going on for generations. And that'll be held in the Corky Row Club. And there's more information coming out about that. So that's the first thing. And then we host an annual Easter egg hunt in the park itself. So parents can bring their children out. They don't have to go traveling to some other park. And like I said, many of them can't. So then we'll go right into that. Then eventually what we'll do is we'll have what we call our Community Day. We do that every single year. That's going to be in June. And that's where we have free food, free fun, all kinds of things, and a 3-on-3 basketball tournament with cash prizes. Immediately following that, we begin our youth program where we meet with the kids every Wednesday evening. We teach them a Bible lesson, and then we play with them until the sun goes down. And that continues on until we get to Halloween. We've been hosting our Halloween party there every October. We've been doing that all the way back to the COVID days. And again, a great and safe opportunity for parents to bring their children out to have a fun evening in the park and go trick-or-treating. Eventually, it all comes down to our Christmas party that we host the Saturday before Christmas every year in the Corky Road Club.
You can watch our entire interview with Mr. Conrad by visiting our website, frmedia.org. United Way organizations across Massachusetts this week celebrated the 20th anniversary of its Mass 211 information platform.
Mass 211 is a service that residents of Massachusetts can access by dialing 211, going to the website, or even texting 211 to get connected with resources. So it's 24/7, confidential, and free if you're just seeking help with a variety of different things, from mental health resources to transportation. It's just a one-stop place for people to access resources. Our mission is to mobilize communities so that all can thrive, and 211 really demonstrates that mission in terms of when you think of somebody thriving, they have access to food, they have access to housing, they have access to transportation, and so 211 is one of those services that connects people to all of these different resources and really allows them to thrive in their life and achieve their goals.
The 211 service may not be universally known, but has shown that it's made a positive impact nationwide for those seeking personal, medical, and basic needs services.
In 2024, I know that Mass 211 nationally, their three biggest areas of resource help that they provided was with housing, utilities, and food security, which we saw was a major concern in November of this past year with the SNAP pause. And then also nationally, they fielded 16.8 million help requests, also nationally. I'm not sure specifically in Massachusetts, but it just shows the brevity of how significant this resource is across the nation and helping people get streamlined support.
The city has launched its annual municipal census and is seeking cooperation to get an accurate count of residents.
The census forms were just delivered by my vendor to all residential households starting at the end of last week. I'm just asking everyone to please review the census form, check everything on there, make sure everyone in your household is listed properly. If you have to make any corrections, do so underneath the printed information already on your census form. The head of household or any adult in the household can sign the census form and return it to my office as soon as possible. But just want to remind everybody, please return it to the Elections Department by June 1st, because if you don't, as we all know from years prior, any registered voter will be designated as inactive. It's so critically important for the city's future that everyone comply with the municipal census for a number of reasons. You know, we have to legally, by law, update the city street listing. And also on top of that, there's so much funding that comes into the city of Fall River by having an updated municipal census on a yearly basis. We can apply for public grants. There's money for public infrastructure. There's also money for our public schools and after-school programs. So please, for all of those reasons, please return your municipal census to my department as quickly as possible. We want to have that street listing updated by the beginning of the summer.
Residents who complete their census form can return them digitally or in person at locations across the city.
The 5 Dropbox locations, in addition to bringing it directly here to the Elections Department, it's Market Basket in the South End, Stop and Shop on Mariona Bishop Boulevard, Seabra Supermarket, Shaw Supermarket on Columbia Street, and the Shaw Supermarket up on North Main Street. A lot of residents have been directly emailing it to me, which I love people really taking advantage of that. I have received probably about 200 so far since the start of the municipal census. So my email address is on the back of the instructions on your municipal census form, but a lot of people have really taken advantage of that. Voters have been scanning it in, emailing it directly back to me, and some people have just been taking a picture of their census form and sending it back to me. So if that's what it takes to reply back to your census form, please, you're more than welcome to do that.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Customer Service Representative, JSI Cabinetry, located at 485 Commerce Drive, is looking for a full-time customer service representative to work with customers who have complaints or require information about products or services. Job number 237-87735. Digital Literacy Assistant, Bristol Community College, located at 777 Ellsbury Street, seeks a full-time digital literacy assistant to provide in-person and remote technology support to students in the day and evening online program. Job number 237-87755. General Manager, Wendy's, located at 500 Bedford Street, is seeking a full-time general manager responsible for overseeing all people and operations for the restaurant. Job number 237-90367. Dental Assistant, Portland Dental and Braces, located at 933 Pleasant Street, is urgently looking for a full-time dental assistant. For more information, call 774-271-5936. Whirlpool Corporation, located at 88 Current Road, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Spot Welder, job number 237-85020. Paint Line Operator, job number 237-85021. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.tcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. The Fall River Public Schools has been making progress district-wide in reducing the number of students who are chronically absent. This week, the Watson School was recognized for creating a reward system for those who go to school every day. Bristol County Savings Bank awarded the district a $20,000 grant. Part of that money will go to the Watson School students and staff for the creation of its Hall of Streaks program, initiated by one of the school's social emotional learning liaisons.
Every single time our students reach a milestone number, they get to color in a number, put it on the Hall of Streaks wall, and then we have incentives for every single, like the 30 days, 60 days, 75, 90, and we have the big ones coming up for our kids who are coming to school every day, regardless of weather, regardless of anything, and showing up just so they can keep their streak, which is really exciting. Being a walking school, we have that means no buses, and so our students and parents and families do a lot to get their kids here. A lot of them walk here every day. Some of them have cars, but a lot of them do walk. And I was actually saying, I get messages on a daily basis. My kid doesn't want to lose their streak. I'm trying to get there. And it's become like a thing here at Watson that kids do not want to lose the streak. So, you know, having these incentives, helping out families if they need it. Sometimes, you know, they ask for rides and whatnot, and we try to help out the best way that we can. But really, it's like a community effort. And our families, grandparents, parents are all helping out getting their kids to school, which we appreciate.
It's time once again to take a look at what's happening in local business and economic development news. I'm joined by Kevin Lawrence. He's the owner, operator, and publisher of Fall River Development News. You can find him on Facebook. Kevin, how are you?
Well, and glad to be here again, Keith.
All right, let's get started. Quite a bit on our plate this week. A local city Catholic church looks like they're going to be doing some work around their building to add some parking spaces for those who congregate there.
Exactly. This is the Church of the Holy Name in Fall River, located at 709 Hanover Street. They are seeking a special permit with the Fall River Zoning Board of Appeals to construct a 70-space parking area, waiving lot coverage requirements. They've been working with an architect to create this new parking area while preserving as much green space as they possibly can. Currently, the church has no parking. You need to park on Hanover Street if you want to attend the church. And they're going to take away some green space on the side of the building from the renderings I have seen. And they're going to construct 70 parking spaces for their parishioners. We'll see what happens at the Fall River Zoning Board of Appeals meeting coming up on February 19th.
And that's when that'll be decided whether they
Yes.
can move forward.
Yep.
Speaking of moving forward, we've talked quite a bit about Anthony Cordero's development along Bedford Street between Bedford and Pleasant Street. 7th Street is sort of the connecting street. And you drive by there now that you can see construction happening.
Yeah, we have a 5-story building rising. The steel is being erected as we speak. This is at 295 Bedford Street and 70th Street in Fall River. The name of the new development is going to be called Campbell Crossing in honor of Anthony Cordero's niece. He's the developer of the property. It's a new 5-story mixed-use building. It's going to have 8,000 square feet of space on the first floor for a brand new adult daycare facility and 52 residential apartment units. There'll be 74 off-street parking spaces at this brand new building for a total of 52 spaces that will be allocated for the apartment residents. 10 will be for the adult daycare. There'll be 4 3-bedroom units inside, 13 2-bedroom units, and 35 1-bedroom units.
It's amazing how that project has been moving along, but Mr. Cordero has another site on Hartwell Street, near the Cosmopolitan Dispensary. That's been that land's sort of been vacant, and that was actually, I think, acquired long before this Bedford Street. But anyway,
that was the old Thomas Edison building. They knocked that down, and Anthony Cordero just acquired the old Hartwell Street School.
Yeah, Sylvia School right nearby.
Yeah, Sylvia School, and they're planning to raise what's left of it. Half of it was torn down because of a fire a year ago, but he's going to build buildings at both of those sites eventually.
Yeah. All right, moving on. There are some mill buildings rather, on the corner of Pleasant Street and Plymouth Avenue, right near Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you go across the street there, and it looks like those 2 mills are up for sale.
Yeah, this is the Durfee Union Mills Complex. It consists of 12 buildings. 2 of those buildings were just listed for sale this week. The asking price is $1.2 million. The 2 granite mills are located at 437 Pleasant Street, and they total 72,000 square feet of industrial space. One building is 3 stories. The other is 5 stories, and it's situated along Pleasant Street and Plymouth Avenue. They are now for sale. The owner-occupied site is for sale because the existing buildings apparently the existing businesses in those buildings are downsizing. That's what we've been told.
Yeah. Any idea on what they're asking for those buildings?
1.2 million.
1.2 million. All right. Hopefully they can get that. We can have some more development in that neighborhood. And finally, as always, we like to talk about new restaurants, and there's a new Mexican restaurant coming soon.
Yeah, this is exciting and good for the Flint neighborhood. Caliente Mexican Grill, which is a local chain, they're going to be opening up a brand new restaurant on Pleasant Street at 1001 Pleasant Street. That was the site of the Bank of America building. They had a branch there. It's been vacant for quite a while, so they've purchased the bank building, the former Bank of America building. They're going to convert it into a restaurant. The restaurant chain was founded in 2005. They have locations in Dartmouth and New Bedford. Those are the closest to the Fall River area. They also have locations in Rhode Island, in South Kingstown, Providence, and West Warwick. And from what I've seen of their other locations, they put a lot of work into their rehabs, and it should be quite a nice facility at the intersection of Quequechan Street and Pleasant Street. This is right near the Flint Village Plaza, and ShopRite. It's in that area. Globe Furniture is at that corner. So a busy intersection and a vacant building that's going to be taken up with a new eatery.
Yeah, exciting stuff. You can find out more about Kevin and his work at Fall River Development News by following Fall River Development News on Facebook. All right, Kevin, thanks for joining us. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Keith.
That's all for this week's edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website, frmedia.org, for more local news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. on Channel 95 and the Fall River HD channel, which you can find on Channel 1072. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.